I'm a 19-year-old student who's been living in Bristol for the majority of my life, and this is what I think makes Bristol, Bristol. When I think of Bristol, I'm drawn to the Bristol graffiti life. Street art has been in Bristol culture for over 3 decades. Bristol graffiti artists have drawn inspiration from a variety of different things. Graffiti started in New York, Philadelphia, where the subway bombers would bomb the trains with their graffiti so that their art can be seen all over New York. This had an extremely large impact on the Bristol graffiti art. They also drew their inspiration for their graffiti art from a book called Subway Art and a movie called Wild Style. These two things had a very big impact on the graffiti art in Bristol. Bristol graffiti has also been a massive magnet for tourism since it started 3 decades ago. Wanting to see the popular Banksy art, who is a famous Bristolian graffiti artist who enjoys plastering his art all around his city. As graffiti has been in Bristol culture for over 3 decades, it will only be deemed as vandalism if the property owner decides they do not want it on their property. Until the mid-18th century, Bristol was UK's second largest shipping port. Rapid growth was rooted in the tobacco and slave trade. The River Avon carried big ships 8 miles along the gorge from the sea to the city centre docks. By the 1760s, the river became congested. Large ships would regularly get stranded in the mud at low tide. This resulted in trade being lost to Liverpool. This is Bristol Temple Meads train station. It opened on the 31st of August in 1848, and it still has the same terminals that Brunel designed back then. The step-slanted steps were constructed in September 1669 and were paid for by the wealthy wine merchant Jonathan Blackwell. But today we know it as the Christmas Steps. Nobody really knows how it got the name the Christmas Steps. It was first known as Queen Street, then Knivesmith Street. Then over time people believed that because it was mispronounced as Christmas Steps, that is where they got the name from. Another reason why people think it got the name Christmas Steps is because if you started walking up on January 1st, it would feel like by the time you reached the end, it would be Christmas time. I hope you enjoyed my video on what I think is the best of Bristol. And if you do happen to come to Bristol at any point in the future, I really hope that you take a day out to come and see some of these places.
Have a good day, bye.